Well, I grew up to be a big, strong Texas Jumbo Forever guitar pick just like you.
It doesn't matter how big you are, son. It matters what you're made of. We were brought right here to America to be handmade by Luther R.S. Paul. He's an expert in exotic woods. Any other questions, Jazzy?
Yeah, why did Aunt Babinga get mad because you gave her crabs on her birthday?
Today here at Robert's Guitar Dungeon, we're shooting out Tube Screamer circuits. The Tube Screamer circuit, there is nothing short of a gazillion of those things out there on the market these days. And if you like the Tube Screamer sound, you don't have to look very far at all to find yourself a good, solid, great sounding Tube Screamer style Overdrive. Be it one that actually has the Tube Screamer logo on it, or one of the, again, gazillions and gazillions and gazillions of different clones out there. So, while I certainly do not have the ability to shoot every single one of those out, and certainly not in one video, nor do I own that many of them, but I do own several of them, and I thought that, well, actually, I'll tell you how this video came about. My good friend Tony Ramsey commented on a video that I did a week or so ago regarding and asked me about the BBE Green Screamer. And I mentioned to him that I actually own one of those pedals right here. And I told him that thing has been sitting on the shelf for quite a while, and I remember it being okay, not the best Tube Screamer that I had ever heard, but being okay, and even though I hadn't used it in a while, but I did have one. And he said I ought to check it out up against an actual Tube Screamer. So I had the idea, why stop there? And dug out basically every Tube Screamer circuit that I own, which fortunately is only about 6 of them. And now one of those Tube Screamer circuits was this guy. This is a pedal, a brand called Delta Lab, which were a proprietary brand of Guitar Center once upon a time when they were still being made. This is a model called the TD1 Tube Driver. Now, this model actually got recalled, and they pulled them all back out of the stores, sent back to the manufacturer, where they were, for whatever reason they were being recalled, that was gone through and refurbished, and they were sent back out. But when they were sent back out, this time they had a little sticker over this part of the pedal, and instead of saying TD1, they all now read TO1, and the model name was now called the Tube Overdrive. So this one was one of the ones that I think I actually bought it before they recalled them, and this one never got sent back, so this is actually one of the Tube Driver, the original Tube Driver circuits, and the reason why you're not going to see this one in the demo is because I plugged it in and it didn't work, so whatever reason they recalled them for, they were right. So that left us with 5, which, again, as I mentioned, is just real briefly is the BBE Green Screamer. This guy right here, I did a demo. I did a video on here earlier in 2018. This is the Ogre Tubeholic Overdrive, which they describe as their Tube Screamer circuit, but a little bit smoother. The Digitech Bad Monkey. This pedal is kind of interesting because for the longest time, you couldn't give these things away. I think I bought that pedal for $25. And all of a sudden, the pedal community got word and got wind of it that it's actually a really, really good Tube Screamer circuit. And now they're getting popular, and prices are, the values of these things, prices on the used market are going up pretty significantly, back up to around the $50, $60, $70 range now. Next to that, we have, of course, an original Tube Screamer. This is the Tube Screamer Mini, which is, of course, a miniature-sized version of the original and famed TS-808. So we have an actual Tube Screamer in this demo. And right next to it, we have the Boss SD1 Super Overdrive, which if you saw my Boss video here a few weeks back, that was the one that I described as the original Tube Screamer. And the reason why I describe it as such is because the model that was out before that was a model called the OD1, the Overdrive, the Boss Overdrive pedal, and that one just had two knobs. I had the level and the drive knob on it. Well, Ibanez, Maxon, whoever it was that initially came up with that design, basically took that exact same circuit, stuck a tone knob in the middle of it, called it the Tube Screamer. So Boss decided to counter that by coming out with another version of the Overdrive, but this time with a tone knob and calling it the Super Overdrive. So technically, the circuit that the Super Overdrive essentially is based on came first, but of course, the Tube Screamer is the one that is the most famous. Anyway, so what I'm going to do, I didn't twist a single knob on these things. They're all at, pretty similar settings. I'm just, basically the settings that I would probably run them at in most cases. And so I'm just going to plug them all in, and we're going to play them all back to back to back to back to back, along with the dry signal through my Marshall JCM 900, just because I wanted to play my Marshall JCM 900. And we're going to hear how they all sound. And then we are going to pick a winner. So let's hear what they sound like. Okay. Now, based on looks alone, no question, the Ogre is by far the coolest looking one of the bunch. Now, I have mentioned in past videos, including the video that I demoed this in, that the concept, the look of it, the housing and all that stuff is awfully gimmicky. But I don't necessarily intend for the term gimmicky to be a bad thing. And because like I said, it looks really, really cool. And the other neat thing about it is when you step on it, the eyes light up, making it even cooler. Also, the little helmet that flips down is a great way to protect your settings once you have it set to where you want. Flip that guy down and stomp on it all day one. That's a metal housing. Stomp on it all day long, and your settings will remain intact. And again, as Ogre themselves describe, I think it is actually a bit smoother sounding version of a Tube Screamer circuit. Let's see. The actual Tube Screamer, the TS-808 Mini itself, the tone of that pedal, it's a Tube Screamer. It's unmistakable. It's a legendary overdrive tone that I think we all know, and I don't want to say all of us love, because there are plenty of people out there that don't like Tube Screamer circuits, but it's a very, very recognizable overdrive tone. I have a soft spot in my heart for the Super Overdrive, and the reason why that one's last in the chain, by the way, is because it's the only one that wasn't green. But I have a soft spot in my heart for the Super Overdrive because it's one of my all-time favorite pedals, one of my all-time favorite overdrives. And, mostly that's the pedal that actually that Zakk Wylde ran into the front end of his Marshalls for years before MXR came out with with his signature overdrive. So, the Zakk Wylde, the MXR Zakk Wylde signature overdrive really was based on the Boss SD1 circuit. The probably my least favorite, as I kind of suspected, was the Green Screamer, and I also noticed that there seems to be a problem with the switch in this thing, because it's kind of iffy, but if you're one of those people that just needs a quick, inexpensive Tube Screamer style circuit, these can be had on the reused market for very inexpensive. If you're playing in a cover band, you just need that tone for a couple of songs or something like that. It's certainly great for that, and it doesn't sound bad by any means. It's just of these here, it's not my favorite. Sound wise, however, the one that is definitely my favorite has got to be the Bad Monkey. And the thing that sets that one aside from all the rest of these only have a single tone control. The Bad Monkey, Digitech were smart enough to give us a low and a high control, and that low, the low frequency, it makes, in my opinion, a big, big difference. And you see, I was running this thing cranked all the way up. This thing is, and I didn't dial it back, but if I did, it could do everything all the others were doing. Plus, this thing gives a killer overdrive metal tone. Tone wise, I think this one is definitely my favorite. I would strongly suggest anybody that might be interested in buying one of these, and I'll even post a link to the search result on Reverb so that you can check these out. But if this is one that you are looking for, I would strongly suggest you buy one up now because as I mentioned earlier in the video, prices of this pedal are beginning to rise pretty rapidly. Again, the pedal world has just recently discovered that this is actually a pretty awesome pedal. So there you have it. This wouldn't be a guitar channel if we didn't have a shootout amongst Tube Screamer circuits of some kind at some point. Actually, I'm surprised I've never done this before. The experiment was actually a lot of fun and very enlightening, because you hear enough Tube Screamers over and over and over again, and they all kind of begin to sound the same. But when you pile them up and shoot them all out right next to each other in a row, then you can kind of hear the subtle differences between them all, and decision making, I think, becomes a little bit easier if you were looking for the right Tube Screamer circuit for you. One Tube Screamer circuit that I do not have, and I really wish that I did, because it would have been perfect to demo alongside the rest of these, is actually one of my favorites, and that one is the Way Huge Electronics Green Rhino. Now, one complaint that a lot of people do have about Tube Screamer circuits is there is a real nasty mid-hump in the EQ. And the Green Rhino has actually pinpointed that specific frequency and has a way to dial it out in order to smooth it out, making it a lot more usable for a lot more people. And you can even turn it into a pretty flat sounding EQ if you don't like that, like the boosted mid-range that a lot of tube screamers will give you. So links to all of the pedals, as I can find them anyway. Some of these are out of production, but links to all of the pedals and any other gear used in this video will be down in the description. As always, please leave me a comment down below. Let me know which one your favorite is. I will also post a poll up here in the card. Please don't hesitate to click on that and click your favorite. So please take the poll. Again, description links will be down in the description. And last but not least, if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, please consider doing so and click the little bell icon right next to it so that you don't miss out on future content on this channel. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.